Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sir. How are you doing? And please, can you give an introduction for yourself?
Very good morning, sir. Very good morning, everyone. My name is Ashif Shahir. I'm the senior faculty English language teacher of Academia Lalmatia campus. And Alhamdulillah, sir, I'm doing pretty well, along with all the supports and the cooperations from management and from the school authorities. We are going according to our lesson plans and all these structures that you have guided us to follow for the students.
That's so great. So, students, they are giving exams, or they are going to give exams in the upcoming May session, right? So, what is your most important advice that you would like to give the students who are sitting for the exam for how to set the time for completing all the sections in English for English exam?
Sure, sir. Since I'm taking the classes for both the Cambridge and the Edexcel curriculum, so for the Edexcel students, they're getting 3 hours of time for their exam. So I have strictly recommended them to split the times according to 3 different sections. Since they are having section A, B, and C, so I usually recommend the students to spend around 1 hour 10 minutes for the comprehension part, since it requires critical thinking and analytical skills. And on section B, since it is correlated and interconnected with section A as part of a directed writing, so I usually recommend them to spend not more than 40 minutes for section B. And section C, that is the most varied part where the exams usually comes with based upon our creativity levels, and that is why we usually recommend to spend for around 60 minutes. So this is how we split the times for all of these 3 different sections in terms of the Edexcel curriculum. For the Cambridge one, since we are having paper 1 and paper 2, and there are sufficient enough of time the Cambridge students are getting, like around 2 hours for each of the papers. So based on these timings, we usually recommend them to write and understand as flexible as they can work during the exam hall. So these are the recommendations that we usually recommend or like suggest to our beloved students.
Most common practice for students would be to they should practice more, because making sure that they can finish in time is really hard. Even if though there is a framework, students still struggle to finish their creative writing on time or finish the whole exam on time. So I feel, what would be the advice, like solving more question papers, or what would be the advice like they can actually finish in time?
So that was a very wonderful question. Like most of the students and candidates are facing these troubles like managing the time. Time management is one of the most important, and I would recommend that this is a non-technical skills that a person must have, or like an individual must have in order to complete their task. But so for our like Edexcel, the students are getting very limited amount of time compared to the Cambridge curriculum. Like they're getting 2 hours of time for each of the papers. For Edexcel, I have strictly recommend them, like whenever you are just generating the ideas, like brainstorming, whenever we are collecting the points from section A in terms of working out with the comprehension, or like we are writing an essay, a creative writing part, we must brainstorm by writing only the keywords rather than writing long lines or like lengthy, making it more lengthier. If we just try compress it or just compile it in a one or single word or like in a short keywords, that would be much more like systematic for the individuals to complete their task according to the given period of time.
Right, that's very important. My next question was gonna how to solve like the comprehension part of the exam, because it involves like critical thinking.
Yes, sir.
So it's really tough for students to actually answer into the specific points that is required in the marks.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. Now moving on. So what would be your favorite thing? Is it Shakespeare or modern poetry?
So to be honest, Shakespeare requires deeper understanding, as we need to go have a very deeper knowledge regarding this, and this is also part of it. Also requires critical thinking. But along with that, nowadays the generation, the people, the students of this generation usually expect something that comes with more more ease and convenience. As a result, I would suggest, based on the compatibility and the understanding skills of the students of this generation, that we should recommend the students to go for the poetry, as it requires simple structure, understanding, and less complexity for having an overall idea about the context.
Right. Okay. Very, very fantastic. So, last question would be: what's the one book you would recommend every student from O level or A level to read at least once?
Thank you, sir. It's a very important question as from my side as well, sir. I usually recommend my students to read a book, To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, so basically, sir, it does not require deeper understanding, so that all the students from different perspectives or like understanding they can go through the context. It develops their critical thinking skills. As nowadays, most of the students and the candidates are having issues while thinking a problem in a very critical way. So they just do not wants to use like they don't want to use their critical thinking skills as if they could understand how to deal with a certain problem or a situation from different perspectives and in a different along with a different opinion, and then they could be able to sort it out while working out in a very simple way. So I would recommend to if you want to develop your critical thinking skills and understand the structures and the basic understanding, then I would definitely recommend each and every single phase, like students of mine and also the candidates of O level, that they must go through this book, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Sir.
you so much, sir.
Yes, sir.
So nice to meeting you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Assalamu alaikum.